Right, Clarets fan reaction. Derby nil, Burnley nil. Not a bad result in the end. I think obviously you look at their position in the league table and you look at ours, especially going into the game, top of the league. They're sitting down in 20th. You would have liked more from the game. Um, but in terms of the game itself, Derby dragged us down to their level. Um, and it was a scrappy game. It was difficult. Um, Everyone, like I said at the weekend, everyone in this league pretty much is fighting for something. So every game between now and the end of the season is crucial. It's another cup final, and thankfully we didn't lose. I think that's my main thing. If last week, last Friday, you'd have offered me 4 points between the Coventry game and today, I'd have snapped your hand off for it. Especially with results going the way that they have in terms of Leeds dropping points at the weekend and then Sheffield United dropping points at the weekend and again today. Um, but in terms of the performance, it wasn't the greatest of games. It's another one that's not going to go down as a classic. Um, and like I say, fair play to Derby because again they're very similar to when we played them at the turf earlier in the season. They dragged us down to their level. Um, and they've managed to get the point, which helps them probably. Don't want to say it helps them more than it helps us because the gap between us and Sheffield United now is 2 points. Um, but it's a big point for them as well. So you could see it towards the end with how they were trying to run down the play while we were just trying to boot the ball up and trying to get it up the field to try and get a chance. But like I say, that sort of doesn't tell the whole story of the game because for the first 20-25 minutes, I thought we were absolutely brilliant. I thought we created some good opportunities. Obviously, you've got the Fleming chance, which their keeper gets a hand on, which is a brilliant chance, and it's a fantastic save. Um, and then after about the 25th minute mark, just after that, they just hammered us with long balls, and we just couldn't seem to get hold of the ball and keep possession. And even when we did, we couldn't really get into an attacking position. And like I say, that's all credit to Derby. That's that's their game plan, and they've set up with five at the back. And you we talk about like I don't want to say anti-football insides, but the strong jaw that Sean Dyche had when he was here. We talk about the defensive displays we've put in this season, um, and what you have to do to get the points, and that's what Derby've done tonight. So like I say, all credit to him. No disrespect for them from me whatsoever. Like I say, in terms of a Burnley performance, it wasn't the best. I think obviously after winning at the weekend and getting ourselves to top of the league, there's more expectations on us. Um, Not just from fans, but from pundits, from the media, So you sort of expected a bit more tonight, but it wasn't to be. They didn't really have many clear cut chances. I can only really think of, the one where Trafford makes a good save in the first half, and then the one where they should score. It's a long free kick from them, goes out wide. That one of their lads puts it across, and Clark heads it over when it looks so much easier to score. And he probably should have left it for the other lad at the back post. But you take misses like that when they go your way, um, because that was the chance. And in a game like tonight, you need a chance like that, and fortunately, he's missed it. Um, but yeah, in terms of the Burnley performance, like I say, it wasn't great. It wasn't the best. I thought defensively we played really well, like we have done all season. We were put under a lot of pressure by Derby. So yeah, I think defensively we played really, really well. It was just the going forward, and I mean, there's a lot of games close together now. Don't want to say that, tired legs or anything, but bar Fleming in the starting 11, it was the same starting 11 from the Coventry game. And I'd expect there to be very minimal changes for Friday night as well, to be honest with you. But yeah, like I say, it wasn't the greatest of games, but we take the point and we move on. I think in terms of Parker's tactics, there's been questions asked about him this season. In terms of that, I think he got the starting 11 spot on, and then the substitutions, Foster to come on at the time was the right substitution for me. Taking Laurent off probably wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting Fleming to go off. But at the time, the game's there, and going 4-4-2 and going for it, you can't argue with that. You can't, you really can't blame him. So I do think we were probably slightly unfortunate with Lyle going off not long after he came on with what looks to be a dislocated shoulder. And hopefully, he's probably going to be out for the season now, but hopefully we can get him back at least for the last game, because obviously with Fleming actually being a Millwall player, we're going to lose him on the last game of the season. So we could probably do with Foster actually being fit for that game. Otherwise, we've got Barnsley and then no one else up front. But the other subs after that, personally, I probably wouldn't have brought Hannibal on at that moment. I would have liked to see Coley-Arshaw come on. Some fresh legs with scary pace against, some tired legs. It would have been good to see him come on. I think maybe introduce Barnes a little bit earlier, but like I say, I'm not too disappointed with the result. Because of how we got on at the weekend. And like I say, if you'd have said last week we'd get 4 points from the next 2 games, I'd have snapped your hand off. And again, 28 games unbeaten. So, it's another fantastic record, being continued. And another clean sheet. So, we're getting closer and closer to that record as well. So, like I say, I'm not too disappointed tonight. Obviously, I would have liked, to see a goal and for us to get all 3 points, but it's a good draw on the road overall. Performances aren't what matter at the minute, it's the results. And getting results like that against a team where they are fighting for something, it's a good point in my eyes. But we have to follow it up on Friday. We have to get a result on Friday. Because results, again, Sheffield United's results aren't going to keep going for us. Leeds' results aren't going to keep going for us. I know, obviously, they've won tonight. But it's not going to keep going for us. So, yeah, decent point in the end. But we've got to follow it up on Friday. 5 cup finals left. Big game against Norwich on Friday. Let's make the turf as loud as we can. Let's make it hell for these last 5 games, or the last 3 home games. Make it as loud as you can when travelling away. Title's still on, boys. The title is still on. Up the Clarets.